She's not the only one. A total of 14 employees committed PPP fraud, according to a new report by the Inspector General for Chicago Public Schools.
The report alleges that the staff members received thousands of dollars by lying about their businesses outside of CPS. CBS 2's Sabrina Franza live at Chicago Public School headquarters for us tonight. Sabrina?
That's almost $300,000 of forgiven money. That means that the people that did this will never have to pay those taxpayer dollars back. All of them have either resigned, been fired, or they will be soon. In a scathing report, tens of thousands of dollars in loans granted, none earned.
We felt that it was important for people to know that someone is holding these people accountable.
Will Fletcher is the Inspector General for Chicago Public Schools. He told us that hundreds of people are suspected of defrauding the federal government during the pandemic.
We have people who are in positions of trust and authority, who supervise other people, who deal with vendors and contractors. And the federal government isn't going to come and prosecute these cases.
There are just too many. His report focuses on 14 people with influential positions within CPS, either lying about how much money they lost at a second job or making up a business to get that money. In one case, CBS 2 analyzed public records and uncovered a loan for a central office administrator making more than $200,000, receiving $15,000 in forgivable money. Crystal Cooper was the former chief operating officer at CPS. Records show her salary was $220,000, and she received just over $15,000 in PPP.
What was surprising was just how many people who earned six-figure salaries were willing to commit PPP fraud and jeopardize their career.
CPS told us they take these findings seriously and promised to hold each of the 14 people accountable. They would not name any of the staff members mentioned in the report.
There would have been no consequences.
The Office of the Inspector General told us that he will be sending this information to law enforcement. In some cases, he already has. He does not suspect, though, that the people that did this will be found criminally liable of any of it. We're live in the loop. Sabrina Franza, CBS 2 News.
Sabrina, thanks.